What's up, 2025? Number nine, number one channel in spiritual and intellectual honesty. So, today I want to talk about a particular subject, right? I was briefly looking at the Candace Owens, I believe it was 1 versus 20 of, liberals or feminism, who knows, who cares? But I was briefly looking at that, right? And this concept has came up a few times. It was this reverse rainbow alphabet soup eating lady. She came and I heard this concept come up a few times. They were talking about the Oaxacan people, the ZAPOTEC tech people. They have this thing where they're called the Moshe people or something. It's like they're almost like a third gender or something. So they had this kind of tradition of where I guess there's like no gender or something like that. And I just wanted this. I heard people bring up this concept a few times. So we got to go deep. We got to go deep spiritually. We deep dive in spiritually, on this channel. We don't talk about surface bullshit. We get right to the core essence of things. So I did a little research and about this thing. They call it the two-spiritness or two spirits. And the Zapotec people, the Oaxacan people, they're very old, old people. They've been around for a very, very long time. And, so they know about the ancient ways and a little bit of the ancient esoteric secrets of the world, of humanity, right? So some of this I'm just speculating as far as how things have evolved, right? Because when we go to our ancestors, that's coming from different cultures, right? Generally, the way they did things were better than the way things are done now, to an extent, right? But we always have to analyze. We always have to examine. We always have to use the sword of discrimination as far as traditionally what our ancestors did, especially if we're in that paradigm. If we're able to be free in the sense that we're not deep in that culture, that we have to participate, that we can sit back and we can analyze and we can see what is morally correct, then we must do so. But this thing of doing that may not be easy. It might take a while. It may not be some like research that we can do just 10 minutes to figure out something. It takes a while. So getting back to the Oaxacan people, where this culture comes from, this gender fluidity comes from, right? So, of course, I have to assume, since they're such an old culture, right? They dealt with the old ways, the old time religion, right? The esoteric things as far as the soul and the spirit. So there is a particular concept from what I know. So, because I'm just going by from what I know, since I don't know of their culture, but for what I discover through African spirituality, right? Which is where all spirituality comes from. I understand that there's a concept of when a person reincarnates, sometime a person may reincarnate to more than one spirit might reincarnate in the body. It might be two spirits. Sometime, and this is rare. So I'm not trying to make excuses for them. This is rare. That an incarnation, right? A person can have two spirits, right? And it is possible where a person can be born a particular gender where the opposite spirit, like, so if you're a man, then if you have two spirits, right, if you're in the body of a man, so you have a man spirit, but you also might have a feminine spirit, right? Like I said, this concept is extremely rare. So this is what they call those two spirits, right? So this is where a person might say, okay, well, I'm a woman, I'm a man in a woman's body. I'm a woman and a man, and vice versa. You understand? So according to like African spirituality, if this is the case, right, which I said is very rare, what can be done, there's spiritual work that can be done where the opposite, spirit that's in the body can go dormant and be suppressed, and according to the body, that spirit can be more dominant. So if a man has a feminine spirit in his body also, that can be repressed, and then the masculine can be dominant. So as far as all these rainbow issues and reverse rainbow issues and this these alphabet soup eating issues, there's only, because people try to make excuses, right? Because when it comes to these situations, reverse rainbowism, as they say, zestology, okay, shout out to Big CC. But according to there's only a few exceptions, right, where things might go wrong, might go haywire in nature, right? That's if you're a hermaphrodite, you have more than one, you have, two different sexes that are both dynamic, and according to, like, you have two spirits. But if spiritual work can be done to suppress those things, and as I said, it is very, very rare. So this concept was known, according to these people, the Oaxacan people, the Zapotec people, right? And it seems like it could have been made as an excuse. I don't know what type of traditional spirituality they have, because they were colonized by, of course, they were colonized by the Spanish and probably a few other type of other outside nations, So I don't know how much they kept up with the traditions. But sometimes what happened is spiritual truth, travels, right, according to a particular tradition, but they don't keep up as far as how to remedy certain things. So, I don't know if they had, of course they had priestesses, they had priests, they had, medicine men, that type of things, and they had people who can see certain energies, right? So it was probably, yes, that some of those people were born with two, of two spirits. They were born that way. But that doesn't mean that everybody who claims that is born that way. You see what I'm saying? People make all type of excuses for corruption. And sometimes, like I said, most of the time my ancestors did, when we go to tradition, our ancestors did things better than what we do it today. They understand morality better than what we do, as far as what we know today. But in some cases, we have to examine. I'll give you another example. The Nimba people, right? The people who wear they put that red dirt on their skin, the butter red dirt, and they put that butter mud on their hair and braid their hair. Those people, beautiful culture, right? But they have a tradition where a man and his wife, if a man visitor comes or something like that, he can have sex with his wife, and he has to sleep outside or something like that, of the hut or something like that. So it's certain things sometimes, like, we have to really consider, like, is this good? Is this practical? We have to really think, is this moral? Because sometimes our ancestors did make mistakes, but 9 times out of 10, right, mostly what the philosophies and stuff they had are better than what we have now, as far as what they understand with what's moral, what's correct. You understand what's as far as that. So it's up to us to see what's what. So yeah, so this two-spirit thing, as far as these philosophies and stuff, what these reverse rainbow people be trying to come up with, I understand this concept, and it's really, it's really weak. It's not really, because it's a rare thing for two spirits to be in the body in general, and one to be the opposite gender. Very rare, doesn't really happen that much. And if it does happen, there are people on the planet where you can do spiritual work. You can go, there's probably a shaman you can go to repress that spirit. People, you just have to find them. There's in African spirituality, there are things that you can do to repress that. It's rare, just like being a hermaphrodite is rare. You understand? So these things, this shit don't fly when it comes to these reverse rainbow people, these alphabet soup eaters, alphabet cereal eating people. The only way they can, since they can't breed, they have to get people philosophically and, indirectly and unwarrantedly a lot of times, because a lot of these people, they were unwarranted created. They were created through somebody imposing their philosophy on them physically or mentally, some type of way. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. So that two-spiritness, that don't fly. I'll debate anybody on that, philosophy, that spiritual concept. All right, talk to you soon.